think about December 14th, 1991, and what happened on that day?
Quite a bit. It's a very traumatic thing to go through.
It's been over 30 years, but the details of that day have never faded for Drew Miller.
I and my friends spent the night at my house. We woke up that morning, watched cartoons, ate cereal, left to go skateboarding.
Drew, who was just 13 at the time, lived down the street from Federal Way High School near Seattle, Washington.
The school grounds have changed quite a bit, right?
Drastically, yes. The tennis court's the only thing that's still here.
Drew often took shortcuts through the school to go skateboarding, as he and his friend did that day.
We used to hop the fence right here and cut through here. It was freezing cold that day, and there was ice in all of the mud puddles. We just, started smashing them because it's fun. Sounds like breaking glass.
That's when Drew says they noticed a man in the bushes.
Right where you see the edge of this dugout right here, and that was all bushes that were probably this tall. So we couldn't see him until he stood up. He's just staring at us from the bushes. That was pretty jarring, but then he just walked out of the bushes. So then we just assumed he's just smoking weed or something.
The mysterious man kept to himself and walked ahead of the boys. Drew says they didn't think much of it until they came across a horrendous scene. There in the bushes, where the man had just been, was the body of a young woman.
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. The way that he left her body, she clearly fought for her life.
Drew says his shock turned to fear when he realized the man, who was still just feet in front of them, was now staring directly back at him.
Does that look still haunt you?
Oh, yeah. It's frozen in my mind.
The boogeyman.
Legitimate boogeyman.
The boys raced to Drew's house, and police were called to the scene.
When we approached the victim, on one of the pieces of clothing, we saw the name Sarah.
Detective Scott Strathy of the King County Sheriff's Office was one of the first officers on the scene.
And of course, later we found out that that was Sarah Yarborough. Even for experienced investigators, this scene was really hard to deal with. Just the innocent nature of this young woman in her school drill team uniform, with her hot curlers still in her hair. This was just pure, unadulterated evil.
Investigators believed this was a sexually motivated murder.
She was partially clothed. Her jacket, her undergarments, her bra had been removed and placed next to her body.
Police discovered that the car Sarah had driven that morning was parked in the school parking lot, about 300 feet from where her body was found.
There didn't really appear to be any sort of a struggle in the car itself.
Detective John Free with the King County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit would later join the investigation.
She had a container of orange juice that she had made that morning that was just sitting in the front seat. Nothing was tipped over. So the question was, how did she get from her car to this hill? What led her there?
Sarah was one of these people that would help anyone with anything at any time. And part of our working theory was she coaxed into following, the suspect? Did he say something like, I'm looking for my lost dog, or I can't find my car keys? Perhaps Sarah, in an attempt to assist this person, may have followed him to that area.
Her baby? You have a baby?
A week, I think, before she died. Can I take your picture because your great grandma really wants to
Really?
in your drill team? And she goes, okay.
Really?
It was just too incredible to believe that it could even happen.
Sarah's parents, Laura and Tom Yarborough,
I mean, who thinks that your daughter's going to be murdered?
Tom and Laura had the excruciating task of having to tell their two sons the tragic news. Sarah's youngest brother, Andrew, was just 11 years old at the time.
At that age, you probably never seen or heard your parents cry much, but that pain in the voice is very, very vivid.
Sarah, who had just started her junior year in high school, had big plans for her future, starting with college.
She didn't want to go to a state school. She wanted to go to a school far away.
Yo.
She loved it.
Yo.
I actually would hear her say, I can't decide if I want to be
Yo.
a curator or an engineer like my father.
What's up?
I'm
Yo.
always rooting for the museum curator.
Liberty Barnes, Christy Gutierrez, Amy Perotti, and Mary Beth Tomey were some of Sarah's closest friends.
So this was after.
Good evening.
We're just kind of goofing around afterwards.
Good evening.
Right in the middle of it. The fire
What's up?
in the air. Was that her personality? Yes. Yeah. She was artistic, she was creative, she was smart, she was feisty, imaginative, all of those things. She would be the last one to wait for someone. Always be there with a smile. She
Ah, no.
it was her ultimate kindness.
After Sarah was ripped from their lives, they say their sense of safety was gone forever.
You grow up getting all the safety conversations with your parents, and bad things can happen, and it's all this sort of like
Very nice.
out there, and then all of a sudden,
Georgia
like,
first
no,
time.
no, it can really happen. It really did just happen.
It was all hands on deck. The sheriff's office put everything
First time by
into solving this case as soon
first time. Georgia
And the killer
first time.
left behind important evidence.
And
Sarah
Celeste.
had not been raped, but the killer's DNA was found on pieces of her clothing.
There was semen found on her underwear and on her jacket. We have a full male DNA profile.
DNA technology was new back in 1991, but investigators hoped that DNA would someday lead them to Sarah's killer. In the meantime, they had eyewitnesses.
I thought for sure somebody would know him.
Drew and his friend who was with him the morning they found Sarah's body worked with police, and a sketch of the man they saw in the bushes was released to the public. Police would later release a more elaborate sketch.
I very vividly remember going through yearbooks, going, okay, who looks like the sketch? Everyone, it felt like at one point was a suspect.
But as days went by and as leads dried up, police kept coming back to Drew and his friend.
They just made me feel like I was the only person that could help them solve this. I know that wasn't the intent. Like, the officers are just doing their best.
How much pressure were you feeling?
It's unimaginable pressure.
And despite everyone's best efforts, it would take years to find Sarah's killer.
This case was never forgotten.
In early June of 1993, 1.5 years after Sarah Yarborough's murder, local media were there as students gathered in the courtyard of Federal Way High School to honor her.
Bill Fuller, a family friend who helped spearhead the move for a memorial to remember Sarah, unveiled it with help from Sarah's younger brother, Andrew.
It was quite a day. A lot of tears as they looked at it. You could see Sarah in that bench.
Bill Fuller has known the Yarboroughs for years, and his daughter was in Sarah's class.
Sarah was fun to be around. That was probably what we missed the most. Is she was fun to be around.
The bench reads Carpe Diem, seize the day, a mantra Sarah lived by. Encased in bronze are some of her favorite possessions, ballet shoes, a replica of Sarah's beloved dog Gibby, and books.
The fact that people care about her so much.
Andrew Yarborough, now an adult, admits
You're
that
going to
his
sleep?
young
Go to
teenager,
sleep.
it was sketches around town of the man police believed murdered his sister.
You know, there was drawings of the person's face all over in businesses in town. I do recall that, like, just having that kind of a constant reminder.
Looking back, I feel like we didn't do a very good job with the boys. I think that we were so consumed by our own grief that we
Got
didn't
la
take time to
guitar.
I think we didn't really know how to help them. I mean, it wasn't something we had experience with. We didn't know anything about grieving ourselves or how to help them through it. And they weren't alone in their grief. Shannon Grant, the last friend to see Sarah alive, says she lived with constant regret.
I wish we could go back and do it all over again. That I would have asked the other team members what time practice was. You know, maybe drop. I mean, there's a lot of the what ifs.
The milestones were especially painful.
There was survivor guilt. Like, why am I filling out my college application when Sarah wanted to go to college? This isn't fair. Every joyful occasion had this sorrow that went with it.
Kasi
There's one missing from the crowd here.
Graduation day, June 12, 1993, was an emotional day, but even more so since it fell on what would have been Sarah's 18th birthday. Lori Yarbrough came to support her daughter's friends.
I do not know where she found the strength to do that.
She loved that green dress, right?
Yeah, she wore green quite a bit with her hair.
Lori Yarbrough says Sarah's friends helped ease her grief somewhat, and she thinks she filled the void for them as well.
Sometimes I would say, well, I'm going to date this person. And I just wanted to let you know because I wasn't sure if Sarah would approve of this person. So they would seek approval through you. You became sort of their surrogate.
As life slowly moved forward, investigators kept working the case.
I described it as like a relay race where the baton was handed off from one detective to the next over the years and decades. I kind of refer to myself as the fifth beetle in this investigation.
By the early 2000s, investigators had received over 3,000 leads, and advances in technology made them hopeful. They entered the DNA from the crime scene into the recently established CODIS system, a national DNA database that includes profiles of convicted offenders.
The strategy was to continually try to see if there would ever be a match, while also investigating leads.
But over time, there appeared to be no match.
For us to have DNA evidence from the suspect but not have that linked to anybody, it just didn't make sense. It seemed hard to believe that the suspect hadn't committed any other prior crimes where his DNA wouldn't be in the system.
That's when he said detectives realized they had to go in a different direction.
My name is Colleen Fitzpatrick, and I'm one of the pioneers of forensic genetic genealogy.
In 2011, investigators reached out to Fitzpatrick to inquire about using forensic genetic genealogy
genetic genealogy.
software to compare unknown DNA profiles to information from public DNA databases and searching family trees to identify suspects. Genetic genealogy is well known now and has been used to solve numerous cold cases, but at that time it was in its infancy.
When I started in this field, it didn't exist.
Fitzpatrick says most police agencies had been skeptical of this new investigative tool.
The police thought I was crazy, you know, this little old lady with a crazy idea. And I was actually almost laughed out of the room.
But the King County Sheriff's Office took a chance on Fitzpatrick.
It was free. I just wanted to see if it worked. What are you going to lose if you try something?
The Yarbroughs were encouraged.
I think it wasn't until we met Colleen Fitzpatrick that I was looking at this person.
And it
Starving.
wasn't long before Fitzpatrick came up with the name of a possible
I'm starving.
that surprised just about everyone.
Everyone.
Can you give me some food?
from the beginning, it was very promising. And the story took some really bizarre twists.
In 2011, 20 years after Sarah's murder, when forensic genetic genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick started working the Yarborough case, she traced Sarah's killer's family tree back to a man named Robert Fuller, whose family had come to America on the Mayflower.
I found numerous matches to the name Fuller.
When Fitzpatrick gave the name Fuller to the King County Sheriff's Office, they immediately knew of one person with that last name. Bill Fuller, the Yarborough's close family friend, who helped get that memorial bench built for Sarah.
Naturally, that piqued our interest.
From the beginning, Sarah's family and friends believed Bill Fuller had nothing to do with Sarah's murder.
He didn't look at all like the suspect. The wrong hair color, he's short, he's not tall. He just didn't fit the profile at all.
Fuller's age didn't match the profile either. He's 79 years old now, but was 48 years old at the time of Sarah's murder. At least 2 decades older than the man Drew Miller described.
There's no way that I could be even remotely connected to the case.
He fully cooperated with police and voluntarily gave them a DNA sample. It didn't match the DNA found at Sarah's crime scene. Yet Fitzpatrick remained optimistic.
The good news is that we came up with a possible last name to investigate, and this was the first break in the case in 20 years.
Fitzpatrick knew that Sarah's killer was in the Fuller family tree somewhere, so she and her team went back to work. And as the years went by, she knew she was only getting closer, especially after 2018, when forensic genetic genealogy was used to identify the Golden State Killer.
Golden State Killer really started the big revolution. Things had evolved that we had the data to work with. The technology was in place that we could go for it.
Then in September of 2019, Fitzpatrick's team made a breakthrough. They came up with 2 new possible suspects, brothers Edward and Patrick Nicholas, who, as the DNA showed, were distant cousins of Bill Fuller.
This is 8 years of on and off and looking at it, never giving up. This is it. This is exciting.
Edward Nicholas was a registered sex offender. His DNA was in the system, it was in quotas.
But Edward's DNA wasn't a match, so they zeroed in on his brother Patrick, who in 2019 was a divorced loner who lived a couple of towns away from Federal Way.
Remember that he was working at an auto parts store, lived alone, no children, no friends or acquaintances that would even visit him. Everything that he did was mostly by
Hi.
He wasn't driving.
Hi.
Detective Ree says he discovered that when Sarah was murdered, the bus route Nicholas often took happened to go past Federal Way High School. Back then, Nicholas was just 27 years old.
Hi.
At that time, looked very much like the description of the sketch.
It looked promising at that point. We still needed to get a DNA sample from him to match up to the DNA evidence that we had.
So in late September 2019, investigators came up with a plan.
We assigned a team of undercover detectives to start doing surveillance on Patrick Nicholas in the hopes of obtaining a surreptitious DNA.
Hi.
Eventually,
Hi. Hi.
followed
Hi.
Nicholas to a laundromat.
They saw him go outside and smoke a cigarette. And Patrick Nicholas was seen throwing the cigarette butt on the ground that was collected by our detective.
That's what you needed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cigarette butt.
Yes. Actually, he dropped 2 cigarette butts and a napkin that fell out of his pocket. And all 3 items were collected.
The DNA samples were rushed to the crime lab, and within days,
Um,
detectives received the call.
I'm okay.
The DNA.
Busy ka. Are you doing? Busy ka sa work.
Yes.
Patrick Nicholas was arrested.
There were so many suspects over the years. Was Patrick
Busy ang live.
ever named as a suspect?
Out of 4,000 tips, he was never named.
I was pretty in shock.
The news
No.
was a relief for Sarah's family and friends who had never given up hope that they would get answers.
One thing the detectives kept telling us was eventually technology is going to solve this case. I trusted that. And it turned out that they were right. And I remember going out to my car and bawling. Just bawling. Finally, they got him.
When Drew Miller,
No.
seen Sarah's killer back in 1991,
No.
saw Patrick Nicholas's face, he says he knew they had the right person.
What did he look like?
The same guy, just older. Just the same evil eyes. Those evil eyes stayed the same.
All these years later.
Yeah.
But it was not over yet.
Philippines.
During his interrogation, when detectives specifically asked him about Sarah's murder, he gave an alarming response.
You're right. Just getting your attention, you know.
This was.
You just want to get your attention, that's it.
Why would you ask that? It is being told this is a
I
very
know,
case.
I know.
I'm wondering at this point, are there other victims?
Meow.
For 1.5 hours, Nicholas asked for an attorney and stopped talking. But his criminal record would speak.
I'm a little bit Chinese.
I am.
Do I have what they call this, eyes?
On a quiet morning,
Ni hao.
8 years before Sarah's murder,
Mm.
Anne Crony was sitting by her car along the Columbia River in
Georgia.
Richland, Washington, when a man approached her.
He seemed normal. Kind of friendly, actually. He was friendly. I had asked him if he'd done any water skiing yet, because he said he had just moved to town. And he said he couldn't swim. And he said, "My name is Pat Nicholas."
After a few minutes of small talk, she became uncomfortable.
I noticed his voice was getting shaky, and I told him I had to go.
My eyes? No, it's just like, you know, I'm just tired, but I'm not.
Everything kind of stopped at that moment. He told me to take my
So,
clothes off.
oh my god.
Nicholas stuffed Anne's underwear into her mouth to prevent her from screaming, forced her out of the car, and led her to the riverbank.
We got about halfway down the bank, and he told me to stop. I ran and dove in the
Training
river
and
because I was
moving,
thinking
price
he couldn't swim.
improvement.
Swim as hard as I could. Swim for your life. I swam for my life.
Passers-by found Anne at a dock nearby and called police. As it turns out, 19-year-old Patrick Nicholas was no stranger to law enforcement and had a record. He had raped 2 women and attempted to rape a third.
He'd been convicted.
Yeah, I'm from Venus.
Juvenile. And had
Thank you.
just been out for a few months when he attacked me.
So one here.
Days after Anne's attack, he
Country
was
boy.
arrested.
Country boy, do you have friends from Georgia?
I realize I have a problem concerning raping girls. At his sentencing hearing, Anne spoke out.
I was actually very angry and asked the judge for the maximum sentence. And the judge did agree and sentenced him to 10 years. So I thought it was over. I thought that justice had been served.
But Patrick Nicholas did not serve the full 10 years in prison. He was released after just 3.5 years. Anne was never notified. She barely thought.
Do you have friends from
October 2019.
Georgia?
The police knocked on my door and said that there were detectives in Seattle that wanted to talk to me about a cold case.
They informed Anne that Patrick Nicholas had been arrested again. This time for the murder
Country
of
boy.
Scarborough.
They told me that there were similarities in the case.
Country boy.
I was crushed. It had never occurred to me that what I escaped from was murder.
What's more, Nicholas had served his
I'm asking you if you have friends from there.
still been behind bars that December morning in 1991, unable to murder Sarah Yarbrough.
How angry are you to hear that he was released that early? And very.
It brought up a lot of the old anger and even more anger because the system failed.
King County Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Celia Lee and Mary Barbosa described him as a serial predator with a clear pattern.
All of the women were approached at or near their car. He would strike a conversation and then pull a knife and tell them that they needed to walk. Where he would order them to take off their clothes and then rape them.
Nicholas had also been convicted of sexually assaulting a minor in 1994, 3 years after
Kind of such legends just seem
5
to.
sexual assaults that investigators knew of. None
Oh,
of
I
them
wish.
required him to submit his DNA, so there was no record of him in the CODIS database. But in pretrial hearings, the judge ruled that Nicholas's criminal history could not be entered in as evidence.
She found that it would be unfairly prejudicial to the defendant.
But the prosecutors were hopeful that their case was strong enough.
All rights for the jury.
In early 2023, more than 30 years after Sarah Yarbrough's murder, her accused killer, now 59 years old, went on trial. Sarah's childhood friends were there.
I so clearly the morning before the trial started, just going, I don't know if I can do this. Like, you know, I have so many different emotions flowing through, and it's like, no, we need to be there. There was this absolute love for Sarah and the Yarbroughs that was so strong. Did you feel
You like me a lot.
Yeah. You weren't in it alone. You were
Why?
Together. As the trial got underway,
Why?
the focus was on
Why?
the DNA.
What was your strategy then in trying this case?
Well, we needed them to trust the science.
There was a field that was emerging called forensic genetic genealogy.
Patrick Nicholas's public defender, David Montez, challenged how forensic genetic genealogy was used to first identify Nicholas. The first time that
Why?
has been used in Washington State.
They use technology to not only improve it, but just wow. She's not a person that killed Sarah. The police needed an answer more than the right answer. And so they turned to use not untested technology.
Genetic genealogy is a new field. It really hasn't been tested out. Should we be making important decisions based on something that is not well or deeply understood?
But the prosecutor said that argument was
State agents group.
DNA matched the DNA found at the Yarbrough crime scene. And Detective Bree says the numbers were astronomical.
The odds were 1 in 125 trillion that
1 million.
that it was somebody else.
If the numbers pointed to Nicholas's guilt, law enforcement says so did evidence found at his house near the time of his arrest in 2019.
And it was almost like a lair. There's no working electricity at this house. Stacks of pornography all throughout the place. We also found a newspaper from 1994 that had on its front page an article about the Sarah Yarbrough case. And going through one of the kitchen drawers, we found a torn photograph taken from a magazine, a woman in a cheerleading outfit.
When the prosecutors showed that photo in the courtroom, the oxygen left the room.
Yeah. Montez downplayed their significance.
I think both of those pieces of evidence were not especially strange given the general state of his house. There were stacks and stacks of newspapers all over his house. This is evidence tape.
Patrick Nicholas didn't flinch as the evidence was shown, showing no emotion throughout the
You
trial.
like
Sarah
me.
Yarbrough's
I like
themselves,
you.
especially when now retired Captain Scott
Wait,
Stradley carefully unpackaged and
Acknowledge
displayed
her.
Sarah's clothing that had been in storage for over 30 years. Her drill team jacket, shoes, sweater, even her nylon stockings.
This was like the opening of a time capsule.
All of a sudden,
Yeah, it's been so long, I guess.
photographs. They were the things she
What happened to you?
you sort of felt yourself crumble.
After
I
9
can't. What happened to you?
the case went to the jury.
Oh, after the jury?
It took them
Study
just over a
group.
day to reach
Through
a
the
verdict.
homes, farms, and
Like
life.
there was so much adrenaline and so much anticipation. We, the jury, find the defendant Patrick Leon. Everything just dropped, and it's like, what?
What's up with you?
It took law enforcement so long to identify Patrick Nicholas as a suspect. Take a look at a timeline of the case at 48hours.com.
This is the state of Washington versus Patrick Leon Nicholas. Sarah Yarborough's loved ones had waited over 30 years for this moment.
I'm so busy as well.
Shock.
No one paid me. I'm waiting for you to pay me.
Patrick Nicholas was found
I
not
guess.
guilty of the first charge, premeditated first-degree murder.
I remember dropping my head. My hands. I was angry. I was in
Girls
disbelief.
say
That first one came in not guilty. I closed my eyes.
George.
But there were other charges, and there was still hope of a conviction. Guilty,
Yeah, I want you to pay me.
guilty,
I want you to pay
Nicholas
me.
was found guilty of first-degree murder and second-degree murder. The jury ruled both to be committed with a sexual motivation.
Motivation.
And I mean, I found the jurors and the judge said, they got it right.
I feel so grateful for those detectives, for the police, for the previous victims, for everybody. So grateful that all these people came together.
People.
Nicholas' conviction dozens of people have been involved in every part of the series. The other half of the court.
Just people.
Prosecutors asked the judge to impose extra time to take into account all crimes.
Was exhilarating. I never expected. It was probably the most raw human courage I've ever seen in my life.
You don't have people. That's really sad. Really?
Person after person.
They thought you're so rich. Rich guy.
Nicholas, and to say what they had wanted to say to his face for 30 years. Patrick Nicholas is there's so much power in the room. Electric.
And then, Anna Cromie wasn't allowed to testify in Sarah's trial. Started speaking.
He just did like a double take shot with the answer. It's not a yes, I'm sure he didn't expect it.
That's really bad. I guess.
We rely on a system of justice that is designed to protect us from predators. Nicholas, and the system failed me. Her family, friends, and countless others. I ask the court to please not make the same mistake.
After everyone spoke, Judge Josephine Wiggs addressed the court.
Think about this poor child. This poor child. What she experienced. Fighting for her life. Patrick Nicholas could have missed on that thing and said, this was a child. She had made that. And all I could think was, that's right. We were children.
I feel like I do need sense.
Nicholas received a sentence of almost
You do need some other live streamer as well.
brought mixed emotions.
I don't know that this is justice. It is a verdict. And
I'm quiet today.
someone away for something that they did. But he got 30 years.
I'm quiet because no one is talking to me.
That he was free for so many years. Who knows how many other people were hurt. I don't know. And I couldn't
Genetic genealogy helped solve Sarah's case. Prosecutors say similar technology could have identified Patrick Nicholas years earlier if only familial DNA searches were allowed in Washington State. In a familial DNA search, an unknown DNA sample was shared against
Yeah, right.
the search for possible family members. Remember, Patrick Nicholas' brother's DNA had been encoded for years. The legislation doesn't exist in the state to allow that search. California uses it. The UK,
Which one is the
New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Colorado, Florida, Texas. Did that law change? The Yarborough agree that Sarah's case can make a difference. I would like to know that other parents don't have to wait 30 years. What do you hope her legacy is? I think her legacy is she was always someone who brought people together. She brought all the people together that in the trial. That's the kind of person she was. For Drew Miller, who at 13 thought Sarah was funny, the connections made a trial finally brought him some peace.
Noise presents fantastic, but no, our family and friends is way important to me. It's gonna be the actual key.
Worth it? What are you up to now? Icons.
Sarah's friends will always
What are you doing, Icons? It's Friday. You know what? I'm so fried this week. So fried. And then my boss is not here. She didn't give my I haven't ate yet. I just wanted to get paid. You can't hear me? You don't have PayPal? Very, very, very. Boy, I'm going to have a fun run this coming Sunday again. Yeah, I know, right? It's okay. No problem. No worries.
Who survived an attempted attack by Patrick Nicholas back in 1983, which was just.
What are you doing today? It's Friday.
Story of Sarah Yarborough. Another young woman attacked by Nicholas 8 years later. Tragically, Sarah died. I'm Madam Morales. 48 hours. So much of our work at 48 hours focuses on the stories of victims who didn't survive. Not those like Anne who lived to tell. For 48 hours, this is It Could Have Been Me.
It could have been me.
By 48 hours, still producer Lauren Clark. And Lauren, we're here to talk about Anne Crowley's story. But before we do, I think it's important that people understand the case of Sarah Yarborough. Yeah, so Sarah had been just a 16-year-old girl living in the suburbs of Seattle back in 1981, when she was found strangled on her high school campus. It was a horrible case for people in the community. It was December day. It seemed she had missed the time for a drill team practice. She had thought she'd get there early, but the rest of the team wasn't arriving for another hour, so
It's okay,
she
no
pulled in
problem.
in her car, not many no one's around, and she was found just about 300 feet from her car, strangled. She was still partially clothed in her drill team uniform, and there was a pile of clothes nearby her body in the grass. Investigators at the time believed her murder had been sexually motivated. But they didn't have really time to go on to the rest of the usual suspects, and we really worked the case for almost 30 years. Sarah's case went unsolved. Yes, it's important to note clothing that Sarah was wearing, clothing on the side, there was DNA evidence, but again, this was 1991, and DNA technology had not evolved yet to the point where we are today. So investigators did their part. They preserved very carefully that evidence.
No, it's okay.
At some point in time,
I'm just
they would
joking.
hopefully be able to get clues and be able to verify and use that DNA to hopefully find a match down the road.
What are you up to? What are you going to do? I mean, what do you do? What's your plan today?
To crack the case, she was hired to track some new leads. In 2019, this forensic genealogist went through and basically reverse engineered finding a match to the genetic profile that they had at the scene. And
Yeah.
it down to these two brothers. One of whom had Arthur. It's a cousin
Those hasn't given me.
on him, and that's when they focus on Patrick.
Yeah, it's the economy here is really low.
He's still in the Seattle area, so they found they found
It's really low.
and they actually went to the laundromat. He was doing laundry. And
It's like
and then watched him discard a cigarette outside the laundromat.
dollars.
There. Then we went back
I'm not trying. It's just
cigarette package. Securely lab.
no, just disappointed about our government here.
All this years ago. So then, Lauren, how did you come to find out
So
that
disappointed.
Crony story? So in early 2023, Patrick Nicholas went on trial for murder of Sarah Yarborough, and
Those guys, yeah.
pre-trial motions that Patrick Nicholas actually had a prior criminal record. The judge ruled that that evidence would be allowed at trial, but we were able to read through and we knew that there had been some previous attacks. And I heard, as we were at trial talking to people, some of their whispers like, "Oh, the victim is here." And it's kind of this remarkable, like, "Oh my gosh, how could someone be here to take that on?" I didn't know who it was at the time.
Hello, Bart.
Back in the early 1980s, Patrick Nicholas had searched for the content.
Hello, Bart. How are you?
Not IT, not admins, you're in charge.
No, we don't have cash up here.
Unmasking a killer who's foolish.
I guess we don't have cash up here.
He used to deliver homemade granola bars to his customers. He tries to shut away the clue shut because arms keep spinning. Police here in Colorado's wildlife capital had no idea a psychosexual maniac was in their midst until a beautiful 19-year-old
Someone just asked for the today.
ironically on the one day of the year where silly pranks and cheap
My goodness.
and Kenya's stepfather Tony actually thought his wife Maria was messing with him. She called him that morning saying the teenager was nowhere to be found. Tony was as frantic as Maria. He loved Kenya like his own flesh and blood, helping raise her since she was 12 after he married her mom. What was Kenya like? When he had a shot, as we went along in the relationship, she was. There was something different about her. Something that magically endeared her to Tony. Just can't need to say.
Oh my god, my god. I'm just kidding. But some people just give. Okay. Hello, okay, Bart. I hope everything is okay with you. There should be.
dreams of carving out a career for herself in broadcasting. Finding herself a job as a customer service rep to pay for her education and rent.
You're always okay. I hope Bart. Wait, I guess. Don't show up.
Suddenly goes missing while on a night out with some friends. Did you know him without that? And Tony would be shocked to learn from Tina's friends that they were all out drinking and partying at a nightclub, even though they were underage.
You are welcome.
Secretly going bar hopping for years.
She and all her friends.
Post.
They were going to.
Got it. Same.
Now, I have been all Kenya had done that night. Tony says he would have understood.
I did the same thing. I think.
And it doesn't matter at the time. His parents warned them, they're never going to listen. But Tony is horrified. Kenya's friends did tell him another secret. That while Kenya had to be escorted off the premises by security staff while she did our bar.
They said it was because of intense intoxication. She was so drunk that they had to keep her out.
Into the antique suites. Again, in early hours of the morning, wearing
Bart. Bart. Thank you, Bart. You surprised me.
Who had all that stuff?
You surprised me, Bart.
Character for Kenya that Tony immediately suspects someone at the club may have swiped her for.
She was just like, told her friends that they were playing together.
Bart, you surprised me.
And they did feel out of her.
Perhaps she found out. She found alcohol for after the club made some dishes. And there's one other disturbing detail that sends chills down Tony's spine.
She was kicked out with.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
It's not her boyfriend, it was her boyfriend. Alarm.
This could be.
The information is on
This could be.
police. And rather than wait for them to begin investigating an impatient, Tony turns detective himself, scouring Kenya's cell phone in search of any clue to the identity of that mystery man who'd been thrown out of the club with her.
I see all these messages are going through their nose.
One of the messages screams out to him.
As always, you are. As always, you know. A man with a word. Copy. Just take a walk. Take a walk. Representing Williams Court.
Leaving a message and anxiously waiting for Travis to call back. But police
Thanks.
report Tony had filed would make a dramatic discovery. This surveillance video showing Kenya and the mystery man shortly after they'd been kicked out of the nightclub together in the lobby of his apartment building.
Thank you so much.
He tells police that Kenya had walked home
This
with him.